Hello there, everybody. This is Connor. I just want to do a quick introduction to this, the first episode of Josh and I's new show called You'll Like 'Em. This show is about film, music, art.
We had such a great time recording the first episode. It was 2.5 hours long. Yeah, sorry about that.
But unfortunately, you guys aren't going to sit through the entire 2.5 in one day. We're going to upload the first half, probably about 1 hour, 1:15. And the second episode is just going to be the second half of our recording session, which will be uploaded later on this month. After that, we're going to go to an hour and a half, hour 15 format for the rest of the episodes, and those should come out about once a month. So I'm just going to stop talking and play the episode, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for listening.
I guess so.
Alright, so do you want to just be like, and start now?
Yeah, I guess this is the beginning. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody.
Hello.
3 people.
Hello, welcome to the show. We don't have a name yet.
No, we don't. We don't, and we're not gonna pull a Brooks and Zach 100 Years where we steal a joke from Rick and Morty. It's gotta be original. It's gotta be real. It's gotta be raw.
I was looking up songs. Well, I wasn't looking up songs. I was listening to music, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if any of these titles would work." And I had you know Wishbone Ash, right?
Yeah, we've talked about them.
Yeah.
You
Well, there's
probably
a
know
song-
more about them than I do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a given, Josh.
Oh,
Yeah, burn. Is your mic up? Like, is your mic up all the way? Because you sound a bit quiet.
yeah. Here, hold on. I have a piece of like. Here, hold on. I wonder if I can get. Can I get Skype to run through? So for everyone for the show, this episode's called "Let's Find Out How to Make a Show" because this is all very ill prepared.
It's called "Hey, do you want to make a podcast?"
Yeah, exactly. All right, so fuck. So should we set up some rules? Like, cause I would say like no censorship. Like I curse like a drunken sailor being arrested 24/7.
Well, I mean, I'm Scottish, so you know that comes out.
So it's a given.
So like I'll be talking, and like did I tell you I got a job at Celebrity?
No, you did not tell me that.
Well, I got a job at Celebrity.
I don't know what that is.
It's well, you live right next to it, really.
Do I?
It's a daycare. Well, not right next to it. That'd be awkward. But it's like a daycare center / preschool.
Uh-huh.
And it's it like I go in for the preschool and stuff like that, and then I have to deal with the before and after school kids, and that's not as fun. I feel like the younger kids are funny. They're they're cute,
Okay.
and then the
hold
older
on,
kids
not
are
to interrupt
just like,
you.
eh.
Here, not to interrupt
Go
you.
ahead.
I just switched mics. I did the USB. How do I sound now?
You sound clearer now.
Okay. Anyways, continue. My bad.
But it's like, yeah, like I like kids, so it's like it's a direction I want to go in, like for teaching and shit like that. So I'm in the class, and this is in the preschool, not preschool, before and after school care that they do, and one girl, I was introduced to her and her sister at the same time, so it was like instead of this one here, that's Ariana, oh, hi, Ariana. And this one here, that's Michaela. Oh, hi, Michaela. It was like, oh, that's Ariana and Michaela over here. Now, over here is an M.
Oh, fuck.
Like, oh, God. So I'm talking to her. I'm doing attendance, and I'm in there by myself. So I'm like, Ariana, I mean, Michaela, I mean, shit. And I just kind of, it's such a reflex at this point.
Yeah,
to just be like, oh, fuck, shit, tits, ass,
I
I'm
had
like,
the same problem too.
Yeah, and I'm like, are you here? And then she turns around, not to answer my question, but to give me the look of, oh, and she just goes,
Oh.
"You said a bad word." I'm like, wait, what? She's like, "You said the S word." And I'm like, crap.
Oh,
So-
Connor, you've corrupted her youth. Now she's gonna get like addicted to heroin because of you.
I know,
It's
I
all
know.
over. It's all over.
I know, it's terrible. I'm the worst. Like, I should be fired. But what was good is her mom works at Celebrate, right?
Uh huh.
So she I'm in God, Monday, I think it was. Yeah, because it was Friday. This actually happened like last Friday. So I was in the next Monday, and the mother was like, "Hey Connor, can you come here a second?" I wasn't clocked in. I was like, "Oh yeah, I mean I can't help. I'm not on the clock." And she was like, "That's fine. I just want to talk to you." And like I hadn't thought of anything of it, like that was her mom. And she was like, "Yeah, so Ariana told me you said shit in front of her." And I was like,
Oh. God.
"Yeah." So you see, the thing is, and I just explained it to her, and she was fine. She was just like, be careful. Don't go around and be like, "Hey, fucking kids, this is what we're gonna fucking do today, all right?" And,
Yeah.
and it was fine, But yeah. So that's my backstory about my language.
So you and I, we relate to each other because we often talk to people about things we love, and it just goes right over their heads. So I can't
Right.
even imagine you making references to these children when like people our own age don't even get the references like then,
Yeah,
Like,
I mean it's
the age gap now is weird, and there really is none. It's more of like a soul age gap, but that's got to be like millions of years apart.
I can't remember what I did. It was one of the kids said something, and it just to me like it was a song lyric. I forget what it was though. But they said something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, is that right?" And they were like, "Yeah," and then I like quoted the rest of the song, and they were just like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh God, I want to die."
I had a kind of a moment like that today, where I was at Hooper's. Have I told you about Hooper?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was your teacher.
Yeah. I joined a comedy group, not at my own volition.
No,
Called
the beginning of
Grateful
that
Dad.
sentence. The beginning of that sentence was I joined a cult, and I was like, oh, Josh, you didn't join a cult again, did you?
No, I joined a.
Oh no, sorry,
comedy
Zach
group.
was the one that joined the cult. Never mind.
Yeah. And so he has like this third mod class where it's like,
Oh Jesus.
it's like they're I guess they're like the, I don't know, slower kids or something. I don't know. They're like the kids that'll probably be there for 5 years, much like myself. They had this assignment where they had to make trailers to movies, and he was assigning movies, and someone got Rear Window, and they're like, "What the hell is that? Is it a comedy?" And like a
Oh,
shiver went up
man.
my spine, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, Jesus Christ. And like, I was young once. I didn't know like a whole lot of movies, but like, god damn it, like I just feel so old. I just feel so old.
I mean, I was watching Cinema Sins the other day, and they were talking about that movie, Girl on the Train,
Oh yeah.
and they were like, "This is basically just like a modern day Rear Window, isn't it?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, which movie's that?" And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh fuck," Then I knew I had to kill myself, and
What's great about
and
Rear
for
Window?
for people out there who don't appreciate suicide jokes, well, you're just gonna want to leave the like stop listening right now.
Yeah.
Because we're both severe depression, and we both joke
Yeah.
about our depression all the time. So
Yeah.
it's not gonna change.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say like, this is the dark version of the 100 Years podcast. These are the two outcasts
they're just like
who are like,
just
fuck
like,
it,
oh.
we'll make our own show.
But
Oh man.
yeah, so we're just gonna kind of ramble a bunch and talk about music, movies, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have like last night when I was supposed to be doing math homework and working on a project was due today, but thankfully the teacher was like, "Oh, I'll give you an extension on it because stuff happened." I was like, "Cool." So fuck, what's this? Oh yeah, I made a list of possible topics, and I'll read them off to you because some of them are pun based.
Okay.
So I mean, not in a good kind of pun, like. Sorry, that's a bit of a contradiction right there.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, are any puns good?
But they're all pretty bad. They're all based on months and stuff like that, because I figure we have hellish schedules, so there's no way we're gonna get this out every week.
Yeah.
So we got for March, musical March. Which I stole from Brad Jones' Cinema Snob because he does musical March in September.
All right, so we're already walking in other people's footsteps.
Yeah. And I got Marillion March, which I just figured I was like, you know what? We're talking about music we like. I'm gonna throw Marillion in there somewhere. April, novelty and joke songs, since April Fools,
Of course.
We have to do like a mid-year retrospective sometime around June, July, and be like, oh, so let's look back at all the stuff that's come out this year. What's been good? What's been bad? And all you audience members be happy about this nice behind the scenes you're getting.
Oh yeah, real beautiful here.
Yeah, and then for August, now this is my favorite. Are you ready? Progust.
Oh God, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's so clever. I mean, you're so clever. Your brain and your dick are just so huge. You're just so. You're so smart. You're just so smart. You've got a really good brain. You've got a really good brain.
You know what they say? God gave you enough blood to run your brain and your dick, but not both at the same time. I'm an exception because both of mine are very, very small.
God damn it!
But
so
I think
is this?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, are they all prog rock based?
No. I mean, I have like October, horror, talk about like horror movies and like horror songs, like gothic and kind of that kind of metal. It's like the Sabbath and heavy metal that was like the story that Sabbath, when apparently they were first starting, like Tony Iommi turned to Ozzy Osbourne as they were leaving a movie like a showing of some like Boris Karloff or Bela Lugosi horror movie, and he was like, so people watch movies that scare them, why don't people listen to listen to music that scares them? And that's why they made Sabbath, songs about the devil. And well, it's like it's what I've heard a couple of times, and it's a really cool quote and like
idea.
It's
a neat story.
Oh yeah. It could be completely bullshit, like the whole Britney Spears Obama thing. Do you remember that thing?
No. What is the Britney Spears
Obama thing? You know how like those jokes, those posts, inspirational posts will pop up all the time. It's like, be careful, what you say to kids and stuff. And it's like, this person did this, and then that kid grew up to be, Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Britney Spears was at a McDonald's, and she sees this kid and her son, and the kid's
Oh, I fucking know what this is.
Yeah, he's like
the second you said McDonald's, I've heard this.
Yeah, he's like, I would be president, and then the guy at the counter's going, oh, so cool. And the mom's like, you never be president. Shut up. And then Britney Spears is like, hey, don't give up on your dreams, kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, that kid became Barack Obama.
I don't even think they're like in the same age group.
No. And I'm pretty sure Britney Spears is probably a little bit younger than Barack Obama.
Yeah, I think she's way younger than Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
so funny.
That's great. That's
but,
a dank meme if I've ever heard one.
That is pretty dank. I guess we can talk about music, since that was the whole idea behind this show.
Can I just preference what my whole idea for the show was?
Yeah.
As I burp into the mic. So my whole thing was like I wanted to create like I wanted to do a show where like I sit like local artists and like any artists and like such as yourself, and we sit down and we talk about music, we talk about art, and we just kind of like talk about anything. So I think the best way to do this show is when it's just you and me. We talk about like anything and everything, like they're very conversation based, like, you know, dealing with a lot of the art world. And if we ever get like any local or like any artist who wants to be on the show, then we talk to them or whatever. You know, that was my whole thing. So yeah, I mean, as far as music goes, what do you want to talk about?
Well, just, you know, what we're listening to right now, for one.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, like.
Right? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up some stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can play any of it, but like.
No, I wouldn't play it because, you know, it's just gonna be like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're gonna be like, oh yeah, and I'll be like, yeah, that's really cool. I can only be about half of it, but like if there's any stuff that like I'm like, oh, you need to listen to this, I'll like send you a fucking YouTube link or whatever, and I'll tell people, hey, you know, go listen to this band. So we'll start off, and I'll start off in a little more commercial and you know, mainstream corporate pop machine direction, and say that my girl Lorde,
okay,
Lorde with an E, just put out a new single.
Oh, okay.
And it's quite good. It's called Green Light. And as you know me, I love it because it's kind of 80s like.
Yeah.
It's
I'm pulling it up right now, actually.
It's really interesting, and it's like, I don't know if you listen to much of her other stuff.
No, I do not.
She's excellent. I think she's great. As far as like new pop stars and just musicians who are on the radio and just successful nowadays, she's definitely one of the best, and she's very talented. You know, she's a great songwriter and everything, and her music's really good. I mean, Elton John apparently was even like, yeah, this song by her, you know, it's one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. I think it was Tennis Court off of her first album, but she's got a really interesting voice. I just think she's, you know, and you hear her talk in interviews and stuff like that, and she just sounds like a very reasonable and not fake person, you know.
I know very little to almost nothing about Lorde. Like my extent of knowledge goes that she is Stan's dad in one of the seasons of South Park, and that's as far as it goes.
Oh yeah.
So
I
am so far out of the loop. I was telling this to my friend Johnny today. Actually, I'm so far out of the loop when it comes to pop music. So like I couldn't tell you the difference between Taylor Swift and Lorde and any of them, man. Like and it isn't because like.
Well, I mean, they're best friends, so.
Oh, okay. It isn't because like I'm like old and I'm like, oh, all modern pop music is garbage and I hate myself. Fucking why can't I die yet? It's more of like I have just been like spending so many days and so many years like finding such weird and obscure stuff Like I the thing I started listening to, and this is gonna be also I pulled up the video Greenlight. The music video actually looks really good, and the song is actually not bad. I've been listening to. Do you know who John Cage is from like the 1930s and 50s?
He's not the guy who did The Entertainer, is he?
No. I don't think so.
And then
This guy,
someone's out there is going to be like, dude, that was so and so, you fucking idiot, you know.
yeah. I found out about him recently, so maybe. But John Cage, he is he's an interesting guy. So this was a guy from and this is all just very like recent, like from the past couple of days information I've been able to gather. This guy was a noise ambient composer in a time where that was like literally unheard of. Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Did you say Page, like Jimmy Page, or
no
Cage?
Cage with a C, like as in you throw something in a cage.
I think my brother, because he's taking like a jazz class right now, and I think he said like, oh yeah, there's this guy and he's like, you know, super like out there, and yeah, I think I've never heard any of his stuff. I'll say that.
Oh my god,
but
dude!
I remember.
I'm pulling it up right now.
It's like,
I mean, it's all like ambient noise, soundscape stuff. I mean, it's stuff that
I just pulled it up, right? I pulled him up on like Wiki right now, and it's like his composition, 4 minutes and 33 seconds, which you know is just nothing. Like it's just if you go and perform it on stage, you sit there. And you don't do anything with your instruments. And it's like, he says it's not 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence. Rather, it's, you know, you're listening to the noises that like happen in the audience, and just what the natural sounds around the place, and it's an interesting concept, but like, it's a little like, you know.
Yeah, well. When it comes to the, like, you know, nothing stuff, I get that's, like, out there. But, like, listen to, like, Imaginary Landscapes. Like number 1 and, like, 4 are crazy. Like, it's stuff that you would hear in, like, a modern horror soundtrack, like, you would hear now. Like, when I heard this guy's stuff, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I've heard this before. And then, like, I was looking up information, and I was like, fucking, this was made, like, 1939? Like, Frank Sinatra? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is insane. Like, I didn't imagine, like, anyone had that sort of, like, creativity or, like, just the gall to do that at that time. So, like, I mean, granted, like, I don't think it was very popular, but, like, well, I mean, it's just astounding.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, you know, what they always say is like the stuff that's most like in any time period, any person who's super talented and has like so much like knowledge about music and makes like some incredible, like, maybe not like the best sounding, but definitely some of the most like technically impressive or like, you know, all round just incredible music are not the people you're going to hear on the radio. Like, and you just think, because I always, and I think back to when I was younger, you know, when I was in like, you know, middle school and high school, and I was listening back to like, you know, Zeppelin and The Who and stuff like that, and I was like, oh dude, you know, this music nowadays is so terrible, you know, I wish I was born in like the 50s, you know, you lived through the 60s and 70s. And like
the exact same way.
It, you know, there's still a part of me that goes like, that would be, you know, phenomenal to live through and be like, oh my god, I can go see Zeppelin in concert. And just a quick side note, my dad we were talking a while back about like shows he'd seen at a place in Glasgow called the Glasgow Apollo, and which is I forget what it was called later on, but it was a large popular venue there. Not the best looking venue. It was kind of shitty and run down, but it was and let me just preface that by saying, yeah, I'm from Scotland. I'm not just talking about my dad would randomly go over to Scotland and see fucking shows in Glasgow. But
if they couldn't tell by the accent.
Yeah, I don't know. I could listen back to this and be like, oh, who's that talking? It sounds like a completely random fucking guy trying to do a Scottish accent. But I looked up. There's a site. The Glasgow Apollo has a site in which you can go on and look at the. It's really cool, actually. Even just from a classic rock, and just music from that time era fan. Just to go back and you can see like the programs and the set lists and stuff for the different acts that performed.
Oh, that's cool.
And some of them even have ticket stubs, and this is where I was like,
oh,
holy shit. Because, and I might even just pull it up on my phone to give you a couple of examples. And because my dad's like, oh yeah, I saw, what's his face? David Bowie. I saw.
I love the way that you say that.
What, Bowie?
Yeah, David Bowie. You become so void of like even trying to have an American accent, because like over here, I mean, you're an American in my opinion, but like it's like, oh, David Bowie, but you're like David Bowie. It's just like so. Well, I don't know. There's something perfect about it.
I don't even know, like. It's a shame because he's dead. I know it's
absolutely
to say this, but it's a shame that he's dead because like I want to ask him, like, so how do you say your name? Like how is it?
I'm sure people have asked him that.
Is it Bowie? Is it Bowie? Is it like Bowie? Is it what is it? Like how do you pronounce it? And I'd be like, oh, it's David Bowie, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've been saying it right, but
or he'll just be like snide and be like, well, it's just David.
It's
call me David.
It's David Robert Jones, I'll have you know.
Yeah, we'll give you the full story.
Yeah, well, there's a river in Glasgow called what is it? Is it in Glasgow? I think it's in Glasgow. The Bowie River or something like that.
Yeah, you've told me about this.
River Bowie or something like that. But here we found it. And this, I would just like to say for this Glasgow Apollo site, it goes all the way back. It's called the Greens and the Glasgow Apollo. Like it's the two names. Like it were originally called one and it switched to the other. I don't know which order because it was closed, I think, by the time I was born. Yeah, I think it closed in '85. So the website has listings all the way back to 1943.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So let's go 77.
Do they have ticket stubs from the 40s?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked.
Okay.
Although I'm sure crazy. Like someone out there might have been like, yeah, I've got this one. Okay. So here's I'm just gonna pick up a couple. Okay. The 13th of February 1977, Frank Zappa played at the Glasgow Apollo. He opened with Peaches and Regalia, The Torture Never Stops, City of Tiny Lights, and if I can, it says it's got a ticket stub here. Okay, so you ready for this? How much it cost to see Frank Zappa at the Glasgow Apollo in 1977?
I'm ready to cry. Go ahead.
£1.80.
Oh my fucking god. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, compared to American, I mean, you have to count for like inflation and all that shit, but like, that's like, I don't know, like $2, $1. Fuck, like that's cheap as hell.
It's obscene. That's what it is. It's fucking.
Yeah, like
Jesus.
God. You can't even buy a Frank Zappa album now. Well, I mean, depending if you buy it on CD, I'm sure you might get something for $1. But like if I tried to buy something on vinyl, like that would be like $13. Depending if it was like in good condition or a piece of shit.
Yeah. I'm looking for like bands I would kill to see now. Focus. There's a Focus one from
okay.
The 20th of May. No, hold on. May. I was right. Sorry, I had to do my month there. I still write in the British, day, month, year instead of month, day, year because it makes sense
freak.
more than what you fucking
get out of my
Americans
country
do here. Yeah. So here we are, Glasgow Apollo, featuring the Europe's #1 band. When they did, this was 1973. I believe before the release of Hocus Pocus,
which is the only song I know by that band.
Well, I mean, it's also their most popular song ever.
Yeah,
I think their highest charting single in Britain. And at some point, I would like to talk about about Focus, because for a band who's popular for one song that has yodeling in it, not only were they super talented and completely underestimated by a lot of people, because it's that band that did the song with yodeling. They also have a pretty decent sized discography and tons of songs which are just phenomenal. They were reminiscent to Genesis and such in some of their stuff.
Damn.
And obviously there's the Jethro Tull comparison with the crazy flute parts as well.
Yeah.
But it's
just as a side note, I've had "Bungle in the Jungle" stuck in my head for and it's not even the full song. It's just the chorus.
It's Bungle in the
jungle. Yeah, I just had that part stuck in my head for days now.
Yeah, it's Jethro Tull, man. Just Ian Anderson's my dude. But anyway, so 1973, a ticket to see Focus, headline act, was 80 pence. God
Christ. Pence is the cent over there, right? That's when you're dealing with
pence
change.
Is pennies. It's fucking
Christ.
It's nothing. And I was telling my dad about it. I was like, Dad, I was looking up all these bands, and I think Genesis were really relatively disturbingly cheap back in those days too. I was looking at them, I was like, oh Jesus fuck. And I was saying,
my question is how popular how popular were they? What year was this? When they were there? Because I mean, if they were
Genesis
nobody, Focus.
I think that was probably when they weren't as popular.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were still being advertised as quote unquote Europe's #1 band. I'm looking at these bands that are playing here, and there's a couple people I don't know. There's an actual act here named Bilbo Baggins.
Are they?
No information.
A Lord of the Rings themed prog rock band.
One can only hope.
Oh fuck! Okay. Hold on, that reminds me. Hold on, keep talking.
Gentle Giant. Real quick, there's a Gentle Giant here. I want to see their ticket prices because I love me some Gentle Giant, and I'm hoping I'm hoping that they do relatively well, because I don't know if you know this, but Gentle Giant are well, it won't tell me how much it was because they're fucking assholes.
Fuck.
But Gentle Giant's frontman and the bassist, I believe, are both Scottish.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah, they're from Glasgow. They were in a band when they were younger, called what do you call them? Simon Dupree and the Big Band, I think. Something weird like that.
Can I just add real quick? Speaking of Bilbo Baggins, do you know a guy named Bo Hansen? If I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Bo Hansen.
Yeah, there was when you said Bilbo Baggins, and I was like, oh, Bilbo Baggins prog rock band, like that fucking made me remember this album I haven't heard in years. It's Bo Hansen, and it's called Lord of the Rings, and it is music that this guy made inspired by Lord of the Rings, like in 1970, like before the movies and all that shit. And I think it's really good. I'll send you something. And for anyone listening, listen to it. Like if you like prog rock or like shit like that, man, like I'm listening to Leaving the Shire right now, and it's really cool. Like I think it really captures the tone of like the books, you know. The album art is fucking crazy.
Is it you said Leave It in the Shire? Is it a combination of like Lord of the Rings styled music and Yes's 1984 hit Leave It off of the album 90125?
No, I wouldn't say that, and I hope someone in our audience knows what you're talking about, other than just us.
Yeah. So here's another sad one for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
1973. A year after the release of Close to the Edge, and I think the year before. Yeah, it looks like, because they play the album in its entirety, which means this is a fucking long show. 1973, late 1973, I think, maybe just before the album Tales of Topographic Oceans came out. Yes, playing at the Apollo. Ticket here for £1.
Oh my god.
It'll make you sick.
Yeah, it does. Now knowing that some of these members are dead.
It's okay. So here's a big band. Well, I'll say big band, but I mean big artist.
Yeah.
There's a Diana Ross one here.
Oh god.
Let's see how much she costed. I'm sure she was probably more expensive, being like, well, okay, they don't have a price. That's fine. Rolling Stones. Here we go. Here's a Rolling Stones one. Rolling Stones touring with Billy Preston. That's just that's a winning combination right there. I very much like that.
Great.
And my dad saw Rolling Stones, not in the 70s. He saw them in the 80s. A shame. But all right. So more expensive. So here's one. Rolling Stones 1971. Rolling Stones played opening band was the Groundhogs, a band I like. The ticket was 70 pence.
Oh my god.
They were cheaper to see than Focus.
So this all goes with like the economy of Glasgow, but like could people, like, how affordable was this to people? Like I mean, like if they're selling tickets like at fucking chump change, like these would have had to been sold out. I you know, I don't know what the fuck is going on in Glasgow in the fucking 70s, but I'd imagine the entire place or the entire country is seeing the Stones.
I'm not entirely sure. I would have to just say to my dad, be like, "Hey, Dad, what were you doing in 1971 in Glasgow?" Because I'd just be interested. Be like, "Why didn't you go see the Rolling Stones for 70 fucking pence?"
Yeah.
Because like, as little as that is nowadays, and as unheard of as saying, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go see." I'm trying to think of like a big enough. I'm gonna go see. This is one of the first ones popped in my head. Muse, right? I'm gonna go see Muse in at the Verizon Center in DC. Or let's say the 930 Club. That's probably closer to what the Apollo was like. The 930 Club for $1.50. Someone would look at me and go, "Fuck off."
Yeah,
just get the fuck out of here. There's no way you can do that. So like, it must have been decently priced.
Yeah,
for people, but at the same time not expensive enough for people not to go see it. Like, obviously there were people going to see this show. It's baffling to me, like the fact that if I want to go see Marillion, I have to drop $50 to go see a band that no one like has heard of, even though I love them to death, and like I gladly paid $50 to go see them. Like, there's no way in hell like you could tell me like, "Oh yeah, dude, Marillion playing Glasgow Apollo for like $1.50." I'd be like, "Oh no, I don't think I'd go see it." Like, Jesus, like, I would. I'm gonna ask my next time I see him, because he's away on business right now. I'm gonna ask my dad and be like, "Hey, so if I said to you back in 1971, you want to go see Stones for 70 pence, what would you say?" And then be like, was that unreasonable? Was it just because like it was maybe not in a great neighborhood? It was like, I don't know. I don't know like if that has to play in for it as well, because like it's like with me, I'm like, no, I don't want to go to a show at fucking the Auto Bar because some guy was stabbed there.
Yeah,
that. I don't know if it's something like that. I'm curious, but no, it's sickening. All this kind of information, you find out how cheap tickets were back then, and if you want to go see like a big name band now, it's like, oh, you want 3 tickets? That's going to be a grand, and that's in the fucking in the nosebleeds, like in the way in the back.
Well, I mean, that's like the thing, right? So like my dad, like I remember like one of the most recent stories like this he told me, like when he was young, like he saved up some of his money and rode his bike over to this I forget what the theater's called, but it's over where he lived, and he saw like fucking Dr. John there, man. And like he said, like that was like $5, and I'm like, you saved up your money, like what the fuck, like how much did you have to save to reach $5? I mean, not how much did you have to save to reach $5, but like what was the financial situation in which like saving up to $5 meant something, you know? So like,
and go ahead.
I mean, like I was just gonna say, like, that's just fucking crazy. I mean, like, you know, granted, it could be like inflation and all that, but like, would it have been because like now those are acts that people are dying to see? I mean, I'm pretty sure fucking Dr. John was really popular back then, like, and is nowhere nearly as popular as he is now.
I mean, it's crazy, like when you're saying about it, and it really, it's one of my all-time fantasies, you know, to be like, And you know, when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, dude, I want to meet Doctor Who, and I'm gonna go back in time and go to Woodstock and stuff like that, and just see good music when music was real." And now I'm like, "Yeah, you know, it is a childish fantasy, but it's still like I would give my life not to go back in time and go see like Hendrix at a small club in England. You know, that's."
Oh yeah,
that's like I just
like I would love to see the Beatles at the Cavern, dude. Like when they were making it, like that would be fucking great.
Like in when they were in Amsterdam and stuff like that.
Oh hell yeah! When they were playing like some seedy fucking club and people were throwing beer bottles at them. Oh man.
Yeah, and
fucking that would
like
been great.
They were a 5-piece and
yeah.
Like a 5-piece or 6-piece with Stuart Sutcliffe and Pete Best and stuff like that. No, dude.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking awesome. I'd love to go
era.
back in times and just see all that.
Oh man, I would fucking love to like. I mean, I like, dude. Like one for me is to go to like the Newport Folk Festival in '65 when like Dylan went electric and blew everyone the fuck away. Like Jesus Christ.
Is that the you know, Play It Fucking Loud one?
Oh, no, Play It Fucking Loud. Not same year. I think that was '66 over in England, but like people still
Judas
felt the
concert.
same. Yeah, the Judas concert. Fucking like that era, that era of fucking of like, oh, you know, he's now playing popular music. He's no longer playing folk music. He's like not playing protest songs anymore. And his response they're all protest songs.
Yeah, it's 66. It was the Royal Albert Hall.
Albert Hall, yeah.
Yeah, the Royal Albert Hall incident.
Have you seen No Direction Home by Scorsese? The documentary about that time period in Bob Dylan's life?
No, I was about to say, is that the one until you said the Scorsese documentary? I was about to say,
yeah.
Is that the fucking Kate Blanchett one?
No, Kate Blanchett one. That's I'm Not There by Todd Haynes. Which is a director I think if you haven't looked into, I think you would like. He's got some. I can hear your vaping device. Like I just
hear it far enough away from the camera. I mean the mic.
But no, yeah, Todd Haynes, man. Like his most recent film I watched of his, Safe. Do not watch the trailer for, because the trailer is like awful, but the movie. It is this like slow, intense burn with Julianne Moore, and she's like, I don't like. There's not really much I can ruin about the film, but like, she's like essentially like, she thinks she has a disease, or like you think she has a disease, and she's like losing her mind. It's fucking goddamn. That guy, Todd Haynes, if anyone out there, if you haven't seen any of his work, this guy's fucking like crazy. Like one of his earliest films, and I love it. And I've told you about this. The Karen Carpenter Superstar Story. He made a Karen Carpenter biopic, and they're all like Barbie dolls.
It's quite insensitive when you think about what she has.
It is. It really is. But like, it's kind of good.
I mean,
he also did Velvet Goldmine, which is like kind of like about David Bowie. I haven't seen it yet, but like, I really like him. He just did Carol. Carol was his latest film.
Oh yeah, that one I know was really big. And,
oh god, I loved it.
You know, critically acclaimed, and audience loves it too. Oh shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, I can't remember. I have a quick recommendation. You're familiar with the work of Yes, and
yes,
you know their discography, I'm sure.
Yeah. For the most part, I think I can only name like a few. Only because like, and I've said this to you before, like my exposure to like prog rock bands like that wasn't like me going out and finding them. It was my dad showing them to me, and like me just being like a kid and like filled of stimuli and being blown away. But like, I mean, you know, we've talked about Fragile before and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you just referenced 90251 if I'm or I
90125, yeah.
90215. I'm dyslexic, by the way.
But so fun fact. So right now, as of 2017, they only have one of their original. Oh my no! Sorry, they don't have any of their original members in the band anymore.
They're either all dead or like they're all doing something else.
Yeah, because John Anderson is no longer with them. He's off doing his own thing with Rick Wayne.
Oh, real quick! I fucking almost made my dad cry, telling him about John Anderson. We were in the car and like with me and my dad, it's like most of the time it's like silent because we're listening to the radio. But like it was like we were listening to like Hendrix on the radio and we were kind of enjoying it. And out of the blue, I was just like, "Oh man, did you hear John Anderson died?" And like he almost fucking like crashed. He was like, "What?"
Holy shit! Wait, no, John Anderson died. When did that happen?
Didn't he just fucking die?
I don't think so. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
From Yes? I'm pretty sure he just died. Unless I'm thinking of someone else. I know John Hurt died. I don't know if you remember about that.
I think you're thinking of and I'm sorry, my mom just walked in, so if like that picks up,
no,
I apologize in advance. I think you're thinking of oh man, you're thinking of Chris Squire, right?
No, not Chris Squire.
Well, now you're scaring me because I'm thinking John Anderson's dead, and
he's totally dead. John Anderson. I'm looking him up. Drum roll, please. Give me a drum roll, ladies and gentlemen.
Born October
no, maybe he's not dead.
He's still alive.
Oh fuck! Then who died recently? Is it Chris Squire? Am I thinking? He's not dead, is he?
You must be. Chris Squire.
No, someone just died this year. Like
I know who you're thinking of. You're thinking of John Wetton.
John Wetton. Fuck, I'm sorry.
My boy John Wetton.
My bad. John Wetton. My bad. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's a John and he's played with with many a prog band.
Dude, I'm looking at the fucking members of band of Yes, and there's like 30. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, go if you look up and for people who don't know Yes, Yes are a prog band from England. Like they're considered like the first one of, if not the first, prog bands out there. But
yeah, when I told him John Wetton died, he almost cried.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, if you told your dad John Anderson died and he's completely under the impression now, you better apologize. I felt
like a horrible human being.
Yeah,
I would feel really bad.
But
Wet.
Yeah,
my bad.
You go onto their Wikipedia page, and there's so many fucking members they've had over the past 50 years. Oh my god, yeah, it's coming up on the 50th anniversary of their debut. Oh shit.
Here's my little applause for that.
Yeah, good job. Yes, you done well. Your last couple albums haven't been
just announced to be entering the Rock and Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah. I'm
about fucking time. Took them 50 fucking years.
Why did I think? Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought Yes's debut album, just called Yes, came out in '67. Actually, came out in '69.
Oh,
so they're just as old as Crimson. I got in an argument with one of my music teachers about who the first prog band was. He insisted it was Yes, and I told him it was King Crimson because King Crimson, Court of the Crimson King came out in '69. Yeah. And Yes didn't really release their first prog album till like '71. And he was like, "Nah, they were in since like '67." And then I was like, "Oh, well, if we're going by that, then yeah, they are kind of the first one." But then so is Pink Floyd, but they were more psychedelic. Yeah. Anyway, To get back on track real quick.
Now you're just splitting hairs, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yes's first couple albums, well, as I said, none of the original members are in Yes anymore because John Anderson's off doing his own thing.
Yes.
And
Chris
Squire
very much alive.
Passed away. Yeah, very much. John Anderson's very much alive. Chris Squire is dead as a doornail. So John Anderson's off doing something with Rick Wakeman and Trevor Rabin. Chris Squire passed away. Bill Bruford is retired. Original drummer Bill Bruford is retired. Tony Kaye, the original keyboardist, was quickly, ditched for the far more talented Rick Wakeman. No offense to Tony Kaye, still a good keyboardist, but just when you're up against
shade
Rick
over
Wakeman,
here.
when you're up against Rick Wakeman, it's like come on, dude. So the original guitarist was not actually Steve Howe. It was a guy named Peter Banks.
Ooh.
And Peter Banks was fired from the band. He was fired from the band because I think artistic, they always say artistic differences. He didn't get along with John Anderson because John Anderson's quite famously known to be like an asshole.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because he's still one of my favorite singers. So, there was the artistic differences, and I think also like the record company were like, yeah, your last album, which was the last album with him was the 1970 Time and Award album, which is not a great album, but it's not a terrible album at the same time. It's got some really bad, like, taped orchestra sounds in it.
Uh-huh.
That are so jarring, like, it just doesn't really work. I don't know, but, like, he Peter Banks left. And, he then went off and formed his own band, which is called Flash. And it's like, if you don't know who Peter Banks is and you just heard Flash on YouTube or on the radio, etc., you just go, wow, these guys are the poor man's Yes. And it's just because he was the original guitarist. And if you listen to him, he's like... he sounds almost exactly like Steve Howe at times. It's really crazy. The first two albums I own just on digital download, not like I own them on vinyl or anything. Like, I'm not a true cool kid, but like the first album's called Flash. It's great because the cover is an upshot of a woman's panties. And their second album is called In the Can, which is just a picture of a tit with like hair drooped over the nipple. So it's like, oh, I see you guys getting past them censorships.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's people out there who are like making the argument, oh, it's not, it's not porn, it's art.
I guess. I mean,
there's
definition,
people who make that argument about anything.
But like, but that's fucked.
I mean, you and the guys on 100 Years were having that argument about fucking Nymphomaniac.
Oh, yeah. Which, like, granted, like, I've seen, like, it's... Nymphomaniac meets, like, that, like, group of films where... or type of film where it's like, I see what he's going for, but, like, that doesn't make it, like, me like this movie. Like, I have the same feeling with, like, Cosmopolis. Like, I totally see what, like, Cronenberg was trying to do, but, like, is it an unbearable film to watch? Absolutely. Like, Jesus Christ. Nymphomaniac, I get, like, the whole, like, sex-driven storyline and all that, like, from, like, as a child to, like, an adult, and, like, it's all complicated and shit. Like, that's cool and all, but, like, I think its execution is its main problem. Like, it's just not executed well. But, like, with that said, like, does that mean, like, you can't have, like, a hard-hitting, like, sex-driven story. No, like, I just watched The Piano Teacher for the first time, and that was fucking great. Like, I loved that movie by Michael Haneke, if anybody's interested. So, yeah, you know,
let's not you know, beat about the bush here. The only reason we have this the show is just to be like, hey, we like this.
Everybody go out and listen to
it. It's so that we can talk more and sell the things we like.
It's like did I ever tell you the joke that I well, it's not really a joke, it's like an actual medical condition. That
okay.
Whenever I don't know what to, and I'm taking the piss, like I'm not being serious. I'm just trying to, you know, again, go with a joke. Where like when I always say that whenever I don't know what to say in a conversation, like there's an awkward pause, there's always a part of me, like deep down in like the fucking animalistic part of me that's like, say Pink Floyd. Just don't even talk about the band. Just say Pink Floyd.
I have like, I mean, I'm very much like a talker, so like I will try, like I'll talk to anybody about anything. Like, you know, I'll find like a way to make the conversation at least interesting for myself. But I'll have like the same feelings on like, say something about Bob Dylan, reference a Bob Dylan song. Just do it. They just say, oh, you know, the times they are changing. They may not even get it. Like, just it'll work. Just do it. So no, I mean, you know,
I mean, I try to work song references into my speech every day, and like, does it go over well? No. I mean, there's times when I say like, hey, you know, I was just out the other day, and I was like, you know, I'm feeling all right, you know, but I'm not feeling too good myself. Yeah, and then people be like, yeah, is that right? Like,
are you feeling all right?
Yeah, just say it with the like, say it with the like the intonation from the song. Be like, I'm feeling all right. I'm not feeling too good myself. Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling all right. I'm not feeling too good myself. Yeah.
I will do the same with music lyrics, and I'll also do the same with movie quotes. As a matter of fact, I recently matched with a girl on Tinder, and we were kind of flirting back and forth in conversation, and I just started quoting Silence of the Lambs.
The most romantic film.
I was doing Buffalo Bill's lines too. And like it was great too, cause like, I mean, I forget like what the conversation was exactly, but like it was like, she was talking about coming over to my place, and I was like, oh yeah, and then I can show you my pit in my basement, you know, where I keep the potential skins. And she was like, a pit? And I was like, yeah, you know, I've got some lotions I want you to try. And it rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. And then like I would just type in like all caps, like put it in the fucking basket. Don't you hurt my fucking dog? And then like it just like, became
this user confusion. Has blocked you.
Yeah, unmatched.
You like exit out for a second to check your email or whatever, and then you go back in, and the conversation's gone. I've had that plenty of times. I'll tell you. Was that the can girl?
No, that wasn't her, but she's cool. She we're still talking, but she lives a little bit far from me, so meeting up is a little difficult. Yeah. But she plays guitar, and she wants to do like do you know what shoegaze is? It's like a type of genre of music. Oh, yeah, she wants to do a band like that, and so we're kind of like talking back and forth about like lyrics and stuff. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
thanks,
cool.
Tinder.
Fucking yeah, did you open up with like, hey, I'm searching for my brother? Yes, I am.
No, it was much sadder than that. I fucking.
It was like, oh my god, you're like 20 and
you're
like,
real.
Marry me, yeah.
Yeah. So like I am. It was so I was just like looking through my phone. I was like looking at my notifications, and I was like, "Oh, I got like a new match on Tinder. I'll bet like $1,000." It's like some fake account, like it always is. And I look at it, I'm like, "Oh yeah, she's pretty cute. Like, oh, she's got a filled out bio. That's cool and all." And then like I like look at her anthem, and it's fucking like it's one of the songs from Mango Tango.
Tago Mago?
Tago Mago, yeah. And I think it's Hallelujah. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, first off, I was surprised that Can Music was on fucking Spotify. And then I was immediately surprised that someone my age that wasn't you knew what that was. And they were also a girl.
Yeah, I could fuck them. It's fine. I mean, Connor, there's like a 25% chance with Connor, but like with this girl, there's slightly higher than that.
I just want to pull up my first message, which was in all caps, "You like Can?" and a bunch of question marks and exclamation marks, and she was like, "Yeah, I love him," and I was like, "Oh my god, you're real."
And then she's like, you could check out my webcam at, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Again. Well, at least this robot likes good music.
Yeah. Be like, hey, legit, if there's someone behind this who's, like, operating this, dude, let's hang out. I don't give a shit if you work for, like, some, like, porn site or whatever. I just want to, like, you know, hang out. This is awesome.
I don't care if you're a Russian spreading fake news and trying to fucking get like sex tapes from like our government leaders. Please just talk to me.
and they're like, yo, dude, I get off at 7. Like, that's just you know, whatever.
Hi guys, this is Connor again. Thanks for listening to the first episode, or at least part of it. Like I said, this one runs a little long, so I just decided we cut off the first half here. The second half will be up next week or some other time this month. I would just like to thank Brooks Vernon for helping us get off the ground by putting this on his channel as well. And soon we'll have our own channel up, and the second half, and probably this half as well, will be on there. So thank you everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you around. Bye-bye.